Okay, money for nothing and you're hydrogen free. This is a picture of a home heating furnace, like the one in your basement. In the middle of the picture you'll see a thing called a plenum. That's where the gas burns. Doesn't matter whether it's propane or natural gas or fuel oil. When you mix the air and the fuel and fire together, that's where it burns, is in the plenum. Then the air comes through the bottom there. You follow the arrows, you see it comes up with, the fan pushes it through the plenum, and then it's distributed in the vents throughout your house. Now if we were to take that plenum out and replace it with a radiator like the one in your car, and then put a boiler into the system, we could use the same amount of fuel to get the same BTUs of heat as we got with the plenum. Only with a boiler we'd be making steam. And then we could plumb that steam through pipes over to the radiator, and then take the heat out of the water in the radiator with the same fan using the same furnace setup, and then run the water back to the boiler. Same amount of fuel burnt, same amount of heat distributed in the house. The only difference is that once we have the boiler and the steam, we can place a steam engine in line, that is, in between the two, in the plumbing, and run that steam engine for free. So that if we add a generator to the steam engine, it's going to generate electricity, and all that electricity it generates is free. Now once we have free electricity coming off the generator, we can run a line over to a thing called a water separator. It's also called a fuel cell. And we can take water and run electricity into it and divide it into hydrogen and oxygen. And the hydrogen's free. We can take the oxygen, we can put it back into the boiler, and then our fuel will burn cleaner, more efficiently, and hotter, again free. The hydrogen we can put in a solid hydrogen fuel tank, and once we've got it in the tank, we can put it in your car. Run your car for free. And then if we add a fuel cell at the other end, we could run a light bulb, or we could run your refrigerator for free. With a system like this in place, if you were to add a small windmill like the ones out on the farms in the Midwest, you could put a generator on the windmill, and you could run that electricity back to the same water separator. And the beauty part is that it doesn't have to maintain a certain voltage or a certain amperage, because you're converting it to hydrogen. So if the wind blows a little or a lot, it's all the same to the water separator. And if you've got that system in place, well, then you could put solar panels on your roof. Or better yet, since you've got a steam engine, you could put the kind of solar panels on your roof that they have in the Mojave Desert. Because those radiate heat against a pipe, and that pipe boils oil in the Mojave, and they pump the oil over to a boiler so that they can make electricity. But you don't have to put oil in it. You don't have to be as efficient as they are, because yours is free. You could run the steam from your roof down to your steam engine, and across from your generator you could install a compressor like the one on your air conditioning unit, so that the hotter it gets outside, the more power the steam engine generates. And that runs the compressor that runs your air conditioner, and it's free. And if we build other systems that burn other fuels, let's say we burn biofuels like wood, or grass, or old leaves, or waste paper. We could make wood pellets. We could build a whole new industry in gathering up the dead biofuel that lays in the forests. We could make wood pellets out of them, put them in a wood pellet boiler. And if we converted a lot of our society in the world to the wood pellets, then the new fuel we could create would be to grow trees. Now you've got an incentive to grow trees. But there's even better fuels than that. There's a way to get this system, and there's a way to get it soon, and there's a way to get it at no cost to you. As a matter of fact, it's going to save your future. If you go to the website, The Visions of Ezekiel, like the prophet Ezekiel, who had visions, The Visions of Ezekiel. And if you go to that website, there are 16 different files. Now, one of them is a table of contents, and the other 15 are parts of a, well, let's just call it a performance art piece. It's called Fact or Fiction. And the point of it is that if you go through all of those files in the order that the table of contents gives them to you, and you decide what's fact or fiction, then you'll have a better understanding of what's going on in this world. Now, the very first chapter is called Future Car, and you won't find it in those 16 files. Alan Alda did a piece for Scientific American Frontiers that PBS aired that will explain to you what Ford and GM and Chrysler have done in the area of hydrogen cars. They're all ready to go, or at least they were before the whole thing fell apart. You'll also find out that Iceland has already worked out how to manufacture the hydrogen on a big scale using steam. Of course, they've gone bankrupt too. So you need to have your library, or your parents, or yourself, order a copy of Future Car, or get PBS to play it again, so that you can see how the hydrogen system works and where the technology is today. And once you've done that, then you can go through the rest of the performance art piece called Fact or Fiction, and you can find out how to have all this provided for you. Every home, every school, every apartment building, converted over to hydrogen for free. But it's important that you hurry, because as I speak right now, at this point in time in the universe, the American taxpayers own General Motors. And General Motors has the Future Car ready to build. But if we don't get it built now, we're going to lose it. As for your money for nothing, while you're waiting for your Future Car DVD to show up in the mail or down at the library, go to Google Video, find a piece called The Money Masters with a guy named Bill Still, and he'll tell you how to get your money for free. We've got a lot to do here, but we can do it. Everything's on our side, but we have to rise to the occasion. So grab your things.